Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and I want to tell you guys something real. Something that's difficult to say, but it's true. I get bored. I get bored with, everyday life. I get bored with Marvel Future Fight. I get bored with lots of different things. That's why I grow out my hair. That's why I change my beard pretty often. That's why I change my glasses or I take them off. I just get bored and I want to spice things up. And there's one area of Marvel Future Fight where I've been very cautious and I've been very hesitant to change anything, and it's been so slow, and I've basically not had any major changes to it in like over a year now, which is insane. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you will in a second. It's my comic cards. These 5 suckers were once applauded for how OP and how blubbery my card stats were because of the level, the quality 7 Loki card that I was lucky enough to roll, and the P card, the Korean P card, the one here. But now they're not that great. I mean, they're very good cards for, new players and for intermediate players and even for like free-to-play or low-spending veterans, but they can definitely get a lot better. And one thing in particular, one area in particular that I've always said I wanted more of is HP. I've got 9% max HP on my cards, and really I only have 6%. The 3% bonus is from a collection. So it's very, very low. And while I'm proud of all of the other stats, that one stat has hurt me, and while I don't take PvP that seriously in Marvel Future Fight, I still have hope that Netmarble is going to make a revamp of Alliance Conquest, and that we're going to get a really fun PvP game mode, and that I will be proud and happy to have a much higher max HP stat. But regardless, we are making a change. I am going to be deleting one of these 5 cards in the next 60 seconds, and I'm going to be replacing it with a card in my inventory that I was overlooking. And then from there, we're going to go 13 rolls on another card to try to replace yet another card. So you might see one, well, you're definitely going to see one. You might be seeing 2 card replacements in the next 9 minutes or so of this video. It's definitely happening. So the first one that is going to rip, if you've been looking drastic, if you've been panicking frantically back and forth like a tennis match, trying to guess which one of these 5 cards is getting the croak, I'll spoil it for you right after I show you which card I'm gonna be equipping. Now, I have a lot of premium cards here that I got through gambling, and that I got through, like, legendary battles and shit like that, and I just hung on to them because I didn't know ultimately what set I wanted to make, and I thought it would make more sense, and I'm glad that I did, to hold on to all of these rare cards, at least have a one of the Scarlet Witch card, the Black Widow card, Guardians of the Galaxy, etc., in case I change my mind and I want to build a different card set rather than having to go and get those cards later on. And then tonight, I took some time, I sat there staring at my card sets, and man, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to change my cards? And I figured it out. I'm going to be equipping this card right here as is, and this is the important part. There's no RNG involved in this first step. Now, this first step is going to seem crazy to you. We're going to hit equip, and we're going to go, and we're actually going to be replacing the Loki number 2 card. Now, if you take a look at the stats and you start doing the math in your head, I'll save you the math. I'm losing 2% energy attack, I'm losing 1% all attack, I'm losing 2% ignore defense, and I'm going to be losing all of the crit rate and all of the crit damage. What am I going to be gaining? That's the important part. I gained that weird proc there at the bottom that gives me the energy attack buff, but most importantly, I gain a almost 10%, a 9.5% max HP. On top of that, I will be gaining 4.4% cooldown, which will be important because the next card that I equip won't have cooldown, or will have a lot less, so it balances out. So we're actually going to go overboard. I'm actually going to do it now to prove to you what's going on. Boom. We're actually going to be over the ideal amount. Usually I make fun of people who have over 30% cooldown. I'm in that group now. We lost a little bit of ignore defense. We lost crit rate and crit damage, rest in peace, but we just doubled our max HP from 9% to 18.5, which is so sexy. We now have 2 of those procs. We've got a physical damage proc and an energy attack proc, which should be interesting. I want to see if that affects my scores at all for like ABX and stuff like that. And then we've got the cooldown. We're going to tackle the cooldown issue by replacing a card that has cooldown as a main stat. And this is kind of the really tricky part about dealing with cards when you have a nice set. If you replace one card, you throw things off balance. You have too much of this and not enough of that. And then you have to bring in another card to kind of re-establish that equilibrium. So the equilibrium that we're going to try to establish is by replacing, this is my next plan, my next course of action, replacing this card. This card, I haven't wanted to replace this for a long time. I've always dreaded replacing it because it's an 11% attack, 11% cooldown. I get an extra 1% of each, but it's got basically two bad stats. This physical attack activation shit is actually not very good. It's got a 60-second cooldown, so it's not that great. And then obviously the lightning resist is not that great either. So it's got basically 2 weak stats out of 6. And so the plan is, because I'm overcapped on cooldown, I need a card that only has about 5 or 6% cooldown, so that we can go back down to about 28, 27%. So the plan right now, we're going to pop 13 cards trying to reroll this Guardians of the Galaxy best story ever. Now, it doesn't have cooldown as a main stat, but it does have more max HP. So we're going to be hoping to roll cooldown on the first slot there instead of any of the other options. We're going to be hoping to roll energy attack there on the, or sorry, not energy attack. We're going to be hoping to roll ignore defense there, and then we're going to be hoping to roll physical attack there on the last slot. So it's a very tight card. It needs to be perfectly rolled. Hopefully it needs to be 3 or 4 quality, but we're going to have to see what happens. But that is the plan for right now. So let's go. We've got a bunch of options here, a bunch of different cards to sacrifice. And the only other option here would be to, I mean, if I didn't want to do this, would be to use these cards and sacrifice them for my agent level. And this is something that I've kind of mulled over doing, going over here, going down here, and just flushing these cards down the toilet. I'm not going to do that, but yeah, it is something that has crossed my mind. My agent ranking, I'm at 580, so I'm just outside of the top 500. If I was going to get into the top 500, I'd get an extra 5% all defense. Honestly, sacrificing all these cards for a 5% all defense when I could get 10% max HP, it's a much sexier outlook. So we're going to go ahead with the first card here, trying to get those primo stats. Let's see what we get. Ignore defense is good. The other two are trash. So we're going to continue here along our journey, hopefully trying to get something good. And no, trash again. Let's go back. Let's find the card one more time. Let's combine it this time with this Civil War card and see what we get. All trash stats again, very good quality. Let's go again, see what we get this time. Okay, physical attack is good. The other two are trash. Let's try again with a Loki card. See what we get. Ooh. So the disappointing thing here is that we don't, this is crazy, we don't have ignore defense. So if we were going to equip this card right now, I'll show you what it would look like. If we were going to equip this card, we would gain 9% max HP, we would lose 2% all attack, we would gain the attack speed, which is great, we would lose about 6% or 5.5, no, 6.5, no, 5.5. We would lose 5.6% cooldown, which is fine, remember, because we're at 33%. We would gain dodge, which is really sexy for the CTP of rage, and we would keep our physical attack the same, but we would lose 5% ignore defense, and that is not in the plan right now, and I don't think I can actually stomach that much of a drop. I already dropped about 1 or 2% ignore defense. I don't think I can handle another 5% drop, so this is actually really annoying because it kind of throws a monkey wrench into my plans, and I don't think I have another option where I can kind of make this work properly. So I'm wondering whether I should just keep rolling or whether I should keep this card and dodge. You know, I don't know if it's gonna work. I think we should just keep rolling it. Hang on a second. So yeah, I did as much mental math as I could. I tried to really figure out any sort of card combination that would allow me to equip this card as is in replace of this one, but I can't. It's sad because it's a good card. It's well rolled. It's got 2 premium stats. It's got dodge, which is not a bad third stat, and it's a 4 quality. But losing that 5% ignore defense really screws up the rest of my cards, and most of my cards don't have ignore defense as a primary main stat. They have it as a secondary stat, which is less, percentage. And so I was actually planning on, after replacing this card with another card, and I would lose that 6% ignore defense defense again, or I would only make it up by equaling out another 6%, which would still make me, you know, behind 5%. And it just doesn't really make sense. You know, every single character needs ignore defense. Only maybe 20-30 characters are going to actually take advantage of that 5.7% dodge. And as cute as it is, and as much as this pains me, I'm going to re-roll it now. I'm actually going to re-roll it with my other Guardians card, and we're going to see what we get. Probably not a good idea, but screw it. We're going to do it. We got a bad roll. It's fine. We're going to keep pushing through, see if we get something good back again. Nothing this time. We're going to keep going. Just put our heads down and keep rolling. I believe in... Oh, and that one is very close. It's cooldown, ignore defense, but that last stat, we would lose 6% physical attack. I don't want that to be the case, so we're going to keep on rolling. We've got about 5 chances left. Let's see what we get here. Complete garbage, hot complete garbage, 4 chances. Another hot garbage stat. Let's go number 3 or number 4. That one only has the physical attack stat, and I think this would be... Oh, we have the Avengers card there. Let's reroll that one. P card sacrificing P card. And very, very good, but missing the cooldown. So we've got another, basically just trading the problem. Instead of having the problem being on here, the problem is here. So if we go on ahead and we equip this one, the problem here is that we lose 11% cooldown, which, you know, 11% cooldown, you might guess, is a fucking lot of cooldown. So this is the annoying thing about cards. I can't go from 33 to 22% cooldown. There's just no way I can, that's happening. My characters are going to be, you know, flopping around like weird fish. So sadly, we're going to have to do this again with 2 out of 3 of the stats correct. And this time we get... I mean, this is a good card if I had different stats. So I might actually find a way to keep this card because it's got... it's actually a really good card. It's got crit rate, energy attack, physical attack. So it's a very, very offensive card. I think I can make this work. I think if I replace, for example, this card here, I'm going to have to sit down and do the math. But it's the same attack speed. The all attack is 5% more, and then we actually gain 3%, or I can't really tell, but anyways, the physical attack and all attack and energy attack is pretty much the same. We gain the 10% max HP, but we lose the ignore defense again, for Christ's sake. Shit, I forgot about the ignore defense. So yeah, I don't think we could go ahead and lose that 6% ignore defense. Because unless the only way we could lose that ignore defense there is if we could then make it up by equipping a card that had 11% ignore defense, because this one has 5 and that one has 6, so we would need to find a card that has, you know, 5% cooldown, 11%. Anyways, it's gonna be a nightmare. If anyone has a suggestion, I'm actually pretty happy that I rolled this card, but you know, that's the screwed up thing about cards. Even when you roll a good card, you know, skill cooldown, dodge, physical attack, even when you roll a good card, it might not actually be good for you. Maybe one day in the future I can trade this card to someone else who has a similar card with different stats, and then we can swap them because it suits our set better. I don't know what to say. I'm happy. I'm not gonna say that I'm sad. This is a very well rolled card, but now I have to sit down in front of a spreadsheet and do a whole bunch more calculations to try to figure this thing out. So let me know what you guys think of the up and down luck. Let me know what you think of my new card stats. In the meantime, I know we only got to do one of the changes, but change is good. I love change. It's exciting. So let me know what you think of those stats there. 33% cooldown, you noob. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you later today. Take care.